Hi, this is Greg Bridges with Trading the Pips. So today we have our daily chart up, as you can tell, looking at time intervals 1 day, and we're looking at the NZDUSD. So the NZD stands for New Zealand dollar, of course, US dollar. So the main currency right here is the NZD, right? So if we look, when we go right into it, we see that the NZD is actually going up. So NZD is headed upwards, and you can see by the green candlesticks, right? So as you can tell, I'm negative $6.18. As you can tell, it keeps moving around, fluctuating. And we see that we have three resistance lines and three support lines right here. So the resistance are in the red, support in the blue, and my gold line right here is the pivot point. So these are the lines from yesterday. So I haven't updated the lines. So what I'm going to show you guys is me updating the lines to the new resistance areas where if this candle goes up, it could possibly hit this line, reverse and go downward, or it could possibly go up to the second resistance area and peak right there and then go downward. So I'm going to go ahead and move on into that portion, and then from there we'll go into showing you how to use your Fibonacci retracement tool and to show you where the different levels could be in terms of the 38% level, 50% level, and the one that everybody talks about, 68% level, to where the market usually goes and then reverses. So a lot of times it goes up to that 68% level and then goes a little bit over and then goes back down. So without further ado, I'll get into that. So first thing we're going to do is click on a new tab, and you can type in forex.com or just click on the link and go up here to market analysis and down to pivot points. So now you have a new screen up, pivot points, and you can go to the side, scroll down a bit, and you want to go down to whatever currency pair that you're looking at. So in my case, it's going to be NZD, USD, and I'm going to click on it. So as you can tell, it gives me a pivot point, it gives me bid and ask price, the distance between the two of them, and it's going to give me three resistance areas and three support areas, right? So all this is going to be different from what I have on my page right now. So pivot point is 60030. I'm going to click back on our page, and we're going to double click on the gold line, which is now 60030, and then we're going to click on OK. You see that it adjusted that, and we can go ahead and work on our supports. Double click on that. Going back to the old page, support 3 is 58443. So we're going to type in 58443 and click on OK. Double clicking on support 2. Back to the old one, other page, 58845. And we'll type in 58845. Click on OK. And then we'll double click on support 1. Take a look at it, and it's at 59628. And we're going to type in 59628, clicking on OK. So now we have our pivot point, which is the gold line, now three support lines up. The next thing we're going to do is do our resistance. So we're going to look at resistance 3 first. Resistance 3 is right here, 61998. Click back on it, 61998. Click on OK. We'll do resistance 2, double clicking. Going back to the other tab, 61215, which is right there. Going back to it and clicking on OK. And then the last one is right there where my thing is. So if I wanted to, I could just push it up just a little bit so I can get a better handle on it. And click on it, and we're going to go with 6813. So back to it, 6813. Click on OK. Now, the reason I kept going backwards is because I just cannot remember anything for the life of me, so maybe I need to take a supplement or something. But anyway, we have our three resistance lines, our three support lines, and right here in the middle, we have our pivot point. So if you know anything about pivot points, pretty much know that anything above this gold pivot point means that the market is going to be in an upward motion. So most people say, hey, Greg, why did you then take a sell when we know that the market is in an upward motion? Well, I wouldn't take a sell right here because I know that the market is in an upward motion, but we know that there's a resistance line right here. So it's a possibility that the market could hit that resistance line and then go downward again, right? So if you look at this green candle right here, you can see where it's still going up, but the furthest it went up so far is where that wick is. So right here where this line is, it's called a wick. And then it kind of went back down. So it's hovering right there at resistance 1. Is there a possibility that this thing could go past resistance 1 up to resistance 2 or break resistance 2? Yes, we can look back in time just looking at these candles right here, this red candle, this green candle, and show that, hey, with the green candle going up, it broke the resistance 1, went over to resistance 2, and it actually had a wick. When the market shifted to the next day, it went up a little bit before starting to go downward, right? So, and even going back in time right here, we have a red candle that was right down resistance 2, one that actually broke, and another green one that actually broke resistance 2 as well. So that's a good possibility this thing could hit resistance 2 or even go beyond. So what are we thinking about that? So the first thing I would tell you is, me personally, because I have such a low position, 3,000 lot position right now, I would then say, hey, I believe this thing is going to go past resistance 2. But I went ahead and took a chance yesterday and went in at the first resistance area just to make sure I wouldn't miss getting inside this trade. So then I would say, hey, well, we see that the wicks right here are going up way above this candlestick, but I would like to get in right here on this candlestick. So I say the price is 61465. I will go ahead and put sell, and then I'll put limit, and this is going to limit sell, and I'll put 465. So 6465. I will go down right here and change that to 3,000. And then, I'm sorry, that would be 61,465. 61,465. And then I'll click sell. So, going back down to my account manager, I now have a potential new sell trade that will take place once it gets to 61,465. Now, what happens if this position continues to this right here candle continues to go up to this position? Obviously, I'm going to be negative, a certain amount of money, right? But what will happen is this new position will come in, because it's an equal amount, 3,000 lots, and that's 3,000 lots. It'll change it to 6,000 lots, and it actually put me in between our first position and our second position. So it'll put us right around that 61196 area. We'll just say that's half, right? So what it's telling us is, if this thing reverses, and I'll use an arrow just to show you, and we'll change it to red. If this thing was up here and it decided to go past our halfway point, and we'll stop it right there, and we'll get off of it. If it was right here where our second position was, and this is our halfway point, we move this down. Once we got below the halfway point and went down, all this area right here is profit. Everything right there is profit. So does it have the tendency to reverse on itself? Yes, you can tell that just by looking at these other green candlesticks where it went up, went past the second resistance area, probably went halfway close to the third resistance area, and then these red candles show where it went down. And then we see another support area before it dropped down just a little bit, and then we see it reverse and go back up. And once again, it pretty much did the same thing before reversing and going back down and forming a lower low, right? So, and then right now we're in a part where it's going upward. So do I believe this thing is going to reverse on itself? Yes, that's my current stance with it. I believe it will reverse itself. Now, the next thing people may say is, why haven't you set up a sell stop to stop you from going too far in the negative? Well, the first thing is I have a low lot size, 3,000 lots. If it does go up to the sell limit and put me at 6,000 lots, I'm still looking at, in terms of me being a low lot size. So what I will do to protect myself, I will say, hey, if it goes past resistance 3, then I don't want to play ball anymore. So if it does hit resistance 3, or it goes, let's say 20 pips above resistance 3. So 61998, that'll put us at what, 61, we just say 6202 or something like that. or we'll just put 61998. So we'll stop it at 6198. So what we'll do is we'll click on edit position, we'll put sell stop in, and we'll go to price instead of pips, and we'll type in 61998. So that tells us at 133.9 pips up, our risk is 5%, 5.2%. It'll risk 40.17 cents, right? So $40.17 what it'll risk. I click on that, and now I have a sell stop in place. So what is it telling me? It's telling me that if it goes up to resistance 3, it'll take me out the position. I'll lose $40 on that, but that is the most money that I'll lose. I want look for it to continue traveling upward, going up here, and possibly putting me in the range of being a -100. So I saved myself by only losing $40, right? So everybody's going to tell you to pick different sell stops, and I'm just going at this particular time. I'm just using 61998. That's not typically where I would actually put my sell stop at, but for this demonstration, that's why I put it at. So right now you can tell that our trade is fluctuating. I'm at 486, -486, and it was $6 when we first came on, right? So the next thing I would do is I would make this a little bit more smaller so I can actually get everything in this area, and actually I can hit a little minus, kind of crunch it in, and same thing, right? So now I've kind of made everything a little bit more smaller. I moved it around, and what I would do is I will go ahead and click on the Fibonacci retracement tool. Remember I told you guys I was going to show you Fibonacci retracement tool. So click on Fibonacci retracement tool, and what we'll do is click at the bottom right here, and actually we're going to do it the reverse way. So I'll click right here, and I'll take this one up. So when you're going downwards, you want it to start at the 100 mark, and having a little bit of problems moving around, but I'll get it. Boom, right there. And it's going to go down. So you have 100%, we have 78, we have 61, and then right here we're going to take this one down to right here, and we're going to move it over so we see where it covers. So we're saying that the market, clicking off of it, we're saying that the market went from being all the way up here, and it started dropping, and it went down, right? It went all the way down, and then it stopped right here before retracing and going up. So it started retracing itself. This is the 23.6 line. They say a main area of retracement is 38.6, where we can possibly see a bounce off of, and at any point it possibly could have hit 38, the 38.2 level, and then started going down. It didn't. It cut right through the 38.2 level, went to the 50% level, cut through that, went above it just a little bit before going to the 61.8, and then it reversed. At 61.8 is another key resistance area where a market could either reverse or go right through. So it hit 61.8 and then it reversed. It went back down to the 38 area, 38.2 area, before then reversing again and going back upward. It went through the 61.8 area just a little bit, maybe a quarter of the way, before reversing again and going down and stopping at the 50% level. It hovered around the 50% level a little bit before bouncing off. Actually, it bounced off twice. And then you see right here where it continued, boom, cut through 61.8, maybe went a little bit over a half or a quarter again, maybe a half, before reversing again and going down to right where our pivot point is. It stopped right there. It reversed, went back up, and went right through 61.8 before reversing on itself and going down. So right now we see that that's pretty tight, 61, 510, right around that area, and it usually drops down, went down to a lower low, which was around the, say, 59.3 area, right? So right now it's in the upward momentum, it's going up, we're at our first support area. So what do these lines mean? That means right here at this 61.8 level, the 61.8, it's a possibility that the market is going to reverse. Where are we right now? We're at 61.8. The market is possibly going to reverse right there, and that's why it's kind of hovering. It goes up, it goes back down. So what do we think may happen if I move this up a little bit? As you can tell, we're at the 61.8, 61.8, right? We believe that a couple of things can happen. At this area, it could go down close to our support right here. So that's one thing that we believe may happen. And we can click over so you guys can see. We believe that it could go down. We believe that it could possibly continue to go up, cutting through. It's resistance 2, going to where we said it possibly could go and get in at our sell limit. So that's another area we believe it could possibly go to. And then we believe that it's a possibility that it will reverse once it does hit our area and go upward. So there's multiple things that could happen, possibly. We just have to keep our eyes open, continue to look at what the possibilities are, right? So clicking back on here, turn this to red, and it's a possibility that can hit where our next one is and go downward, right? So there's multiple things we can see that could possibly happen. So as of right now, we're saying that, actually, let me get off of that because I'm drawing and making a mess right now. All right, cool. So as of right now, we're in this red candle, this green candle, and it's headed upwards. It's stalling out right here at the first resistance point, but it's a possibility it may go through the first resistance point, and we're betting that it may go past the first resistance up to where we have our sell limit at, and then once it hits that, it's probably going to start stalling out, going back down to where the second resistance is at, and then possibly cutting through. So once it cuts through that area and gets somewhere around this halfway point, we know that we're going to be in profit, if it goes that way. If it doesn't go that way and the next candlestick forms and it starts going downward, it's a possibility that we see this red arrow where it's going to go down. And right here at 50%, it's a possibility that it could bounce right off of that and start going back up. Or another possibility is that it will continue going down and possibly go to the 38% level, and we'll just kind of do like that, and hit the 38% level, and then at the 38, it's a possibility that it may bounce and go upward. So if that's the case, it may go kind of like that, back up to the 50% before possibly going sideways and then heading back upward. So it's multiple things that could happen. I won't sit here and pretend to know exactly which way the market is going to go because nobody really knows. Nobody can really predict the market and tell you. We're only using different tools that are given to us that we've learned to actually try to see the direction of where we think the market is going to go. So in this case, I see that the market is in an upward motion. I know that because this thing is going up, it means that the US dollar is lost a little bit of value versus the NZD. Because if it was going down, that means that the US dollar is gaining momentum. And so at this present moment, obviously US dollar is losing a little bit of steam. Therefore, the NZD is going up in value again, right? So once again, I believe that close around resistance 2 or a little bit past resistance 2, we're going to see some type of reversal. I hope that I don't have to, it doesn't go up to the next sell limit and put me in at a 6,000 lot trade. I really don't care, but I hope it doesn't. I'm hoping that it continues to go down on itself, and I'll just blow it up just a little bit more for you. I hope that it actually goes this way, where I'm at, and then just starts going downward, because if it starts going downward, I'm going to win. And I actually can say, all right, cool. Well, we'll take profit at 50%, right? So if I click right here and we can look at what 50% level is, it's 59582, right? So we can go take profit and we can put price in and 59582. So right now we're saying our reward ratio is $32.31. That's at 3,000, 3,000 lot size, $32. So we're willing to risk $40 to gain. We're willing to risk $40 to gain $32. Now, if we didn't want it to be that, we say, hey, I don't want to risk past $10. Then I can always change our lot size. Right now, I have it at a bigger 40% range, because $40 range, because I'm betting that it possibly may go up and hit my sell limit and then go down. So I'm saying, hey, if it continues to go up, I'm not risking past $40. So that'll be a whole different story. But if it didn't and it went down, I can then click right back on here, edit position, and I can adjust my sell stop. And that says 133 pips. What happens if I just say, hey, I want it to be 100 pips? So then I risk $30. If I click modify, boom, it shows you that, hey, I'm only willing to risk $30 at a 3,000 lot position. So you can always change that. So I can make $32 to lose $30, possibly. If I want to change it again and say, hey, I want to only go 50 pips, we know that 50 pips would be $15. So if I'm only willing to risk $15, then I would do that, modify $15. So it shows you right there that you can always change your sell stop. And I know in another video, I actually showed where you can actually use the sell stop to make money, to lock your money in place. And as you can tell, we're up kind of high right now, 789, 792. So it's actually moving upward, right past our resistance 1, and possibly, like I said, may go on into resistance 2 and maybe pass it. So this is something we're going to continue to watch and throughout the day, just to see what happens. Once again, the NZDUSD market moves during the Australian hours. So that's for Eastern time, that's about 1700 or 5 o'clock on over to around the 2 o'clock or 2 a.m. time frame. So right around that time frame is when we see the most movement in NZDUSD and AUDUSD. That's not telling you that the market doesn't maneuver throughout these time frames. Like right now, it's 9:58, it's about to be 10 o'clock, right, in the morning. So it's not telling you that the market doesn't move, because as you can tell, it is moving. But they're telling you that around that time frame, most of the active traders for this market, which is over in New Zealand or over in Australia, they're going to be moving the market. The market is going to move a little bit better. They're going to be taking their trades and so on and so forth. So, and around that time, 5 o'clock or so, 5 p.m., U.S. traders are winding down. If they've been trading since this morning like me, then they're going to possibly wind down and not really worry about the markets anymore. They already made their money and they're going to go ahead and get out. So anyway, hopefully you guys learned a little bit of something about the support and resistance lines, how to change it, how to actually put your arrows in place if you thought that was going to go down or up, and actually a little bit about the Fibonacci line. So if you were going if you were looking at a trend and it was going downward, you're going to take the Fibonacci downward. It's going to be 1, 78, 60, 61, 8, 50, 30, 38, 2, 23, 6 on down to 0, right? So, and the same can be said if you go upward with it, and that's going to be your Fibonacci extensions. So I'm not going to go over that right now, but just want to leave that with you. If you want to save it, you can always click right here, and it's going to save that on your screen, so that when you click back on your charts on forex.com, you can easily go right here, click down, load charts, and as you can tell, I have different ones saved for myself. So all the stuff that I have in it is saved, and I'll just show you another one. I have AUDUSD, so everything that I have saved on AUDUSD is saved right there. Going back to NZDUSD, load chart layout, NZDUSD Forex, everything that I have is saved. So now I know what directions I thought the market would go in. So if it goes against that, I know that, hey, my particular predictions may be wrong. Maybe I need to reevaluate and look at a bigger stance of the market. Anyway, this is Greg Bridges. Hopefully you learned some stuff about the NZDUSD, or what direction it may go into. And you guys have a great day. Bye.